Well, hello everyone, and welcome to DILAN Delivers, our free webinar series from the DILAN Consulting Group. I am Dr. Eugene Dilan, and I'll be your host and moderator for today's session with the amazing Poonam Kakodkar. I'll have her introduce herself properly in just a little bit. Before we jump in, I want to tell you a little bit about myself and the work that we do here at DILAN Consulting Group. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist and a former nonprofit executive. I founded the DILAN Consulting Group about 15 years ago, and for nearly 3 decades, I've been working with leaders and organizations to build cultures where both people and performance can thrive. At the heart of all of our work is the simple, I think, but powerful belief that business is human. If you're new to us, we're a boutique consulting firm led by psychologists. We understand what drives people, culture, and change. Our focus is on helping leaders to learn better. We want to strengthen teams, and we want to create workplaces where people genuinely want to work and be a part of. So today, we're talking about the AI-powered learning revolution. The subtitle here is Personalizing Development for the Workforce of Tomorrow. Now, why are we talking about this? Because AI honestly is here to stay, and only those that learn, I believe, and try and work with it are going to be the ones that stay competitive in this world of ours that is constantly changing. So by the end of the day, I'm really hoping that you're going to walk away with some really actionable insights that are going to help you to move your teams and your organizations forward. So with that, I just want to give you one more quick little note. We're recording today's session, and you'll be able to find it on YouTube in about a week. All right, so with that, let's get started, and let me stop sharing my screen so that I can introduce the lovely Poonam. And so, Poonam, can you say a little bit about yourself? What brings you here to this moment today? Please.
Hello, Eugene, and hello, everyone who's joined us today in this session. I'm a doctoral candidate in learning and instruction with a minor in educational technology from the University of San Francisco. And my prior experience has been in L&D and human resources. And I'm very excited about what's happening today and how things are evolving with the entry of AI. So that's why I was very interested to talk about this topic with everyone today.
Okay, well, thank you so much for that lovely intro. I'm going to turn the screen over to you, and then at the end, everyone, we're going to do a little Q&A. So don't go away, because I have some really good questions lined up to share with Poonam. So the stage is yours, please.
So I want to start by saying that AI is not replacing L&D. Instead, it's reimagining how our people experience learning and development. Our role as HR and L&D professionals becomes even more strategic. We move from pushing out content to architecting ecosystems where the right experience, knowledge, and support show up at exactly the right moment. We look at how AI is transforming the way people learn, grow, some of the latest trends and applications in L&D, and how to keep people at the heart of all this, and what it means to integrate AI responsibly and strategically. As you listen, I invite you to reflect on one question. What would it look like if learning in your organization truly kept up with the pace of work and things and change happening today? Let's start with where we've come from. For decades, corporate learning followed a fairly predictable pattern. We built courses, we scheduled workshops, uploaded e-learning to an LMS, and measured completion. It was largely a publishing model. We produced content and pushed it to employees. But the work context around us has shifted dramatically. Skills now have a much shorter half-life. Roles are constantly evolving, and teams are more hybrid and global than ever before. People don't just learn in classrooms or formal courses. They learn every time they troubleshoot a problem, shadow a colleague, or look up something quickly between meetings. Traditional L&D can't alone keep pace. When we think of learning, many of us picture a course, slides, an instructor, maybe even an LMS quiz. But corporate training is really about creating an environment of learning, not just delivering events. Traditional instruction design has given us many useful models like ADDIE, Bloom's taxonomy, etc. They tend to be teacher led and process focused. They assume a designer carefully sequences content, a facilitator leads the journey, and learners move through in a relatively linear way. But in real organizations, that's not how people actually learn. People look for reference materials, a quick SOP, a snippet of a code, a short how to video. They copy what others are doing by observing peers who are good at their job. They rely heavily on managers, mentors, internal experts when they get stuck. And they learn by making decisions, sometimes failing safely. In other words, learning is messy, social, and embedded in work. This means our traditional instructional design models, while still valuable, are no longer sufficient on their own. They need to be extended. From designing courses to designing ecosystems that include resources, communities, and performance support. From what I will teach to what people will need to do and how they will learn naturally. AI can help us scale this more realistic view of learning. Instead of creating a single formal path, we can support multiple pathways, a curated resource here, a quick micro module there, a manager prompt somewhere else. So as we move into the AI examples, keep this in mind. We are not just using AI to build a better course. We're using it to extend the entire learning environment so that people can learn in all the ways they naturally do, self-directed, social, and in the flow of work. Now let's bring this to life. Imagine this. You sit down at your desk with your coffee. Before you've even opened your inbox, your AI mentor is already 5 steps ahead of you. It knows you've got a big pitch coming up with the CEO. It knows a critical decision is on your plate next week. And it knows you're aiming for that promotion into a people lead role. Behind the scenes, it has mapped your skills, identified your gaps, and queued up a few focused learning experiences to sharpen exactly what you need right now. No more generic dull modules that feel irrelevant. This is learning at the speed of work. Let's break it into 3 layers here on this slide. Personalized learning paths. AI can tailor both content and trajectory based on your skills, experience, and aspirations. A real world example is Unilever's Flex Experiences, an AI powered internal talent marketplace. It analyzes employees' profiles, work history, skills, and career interests, and matches them with stretch projects and development opportunities across the company. Instead of random courses that keep people in their comfort zones, Flex curates career based building experiences in real time. In practice, this has allowed Unilever to reallocate tens of thousands of hours to critical projects, turning development into a win-win for both the business and employees. That's personalized learning as experience design, not just content. AI doesn't just plan long-term paths, it also supports learning in the moment. So picture yourself in the middle of a project, unsure about a new process or policy. Traditionally, you dig into outdated manuals or wait for a training. Now, AI-powered knowledge assistants can surface the latest procedure, the most relevant short video, or the best practice checklist right inside the tools you already use. This transforms L&D from a go there to learn to learning shows up where you need it. On-demand support. Finally, AI-powered chatbots and virtual coaches offer always-on guidance. This will be especially useful in organizations which do not have enough human resources to actually support employees in a very large organization. Your AI chatbots can help someone practice a difficult conversation, offer suggestions to improve a written self-review, or give reflective prompts for leadership growth. The result is an environment where employees don't feel lost. They have a guide anytime, anywhere. That's the promise of AI driven personalized learning, career building experiences, curated knowledge, and on demand support all working together. Let's talk about something L&D teams feel very directly: the content treadmill. Most of us know the world of rigid workshops, mind numbing e learning, and one size fits all compliance courses all too well. They are great for checking boxes, but often employees don't have time for them. Much of the content doesn't stick. And by the time we build a course, the need sometimes has already shifted. One of AI's most revolutionary contributions is its ability to rapidly generate high quality customized content. This fundamentally changes what L&D teams do. Instant course generation. Generative AI tools can now draft course outlines and storyboards, can create scenario based questions and quizzes, can generate micro learning scripts, job aids, and simulations. So instead of spending weeks building a course from scratch, we can ask an AI assistant to produce a first draft in minutes, and then we can refine it. Curators, not just creators. As this happens, our role in L&D shifts. Less time spent manually building every slide, more time curating, validating, contextualizing content, more focus on aligning learning to business strategy and cultural context. We become editors and strategists, ensuring that AI produces accurate, inclusive, and relevant, and embedding it into the right workflows. The biggest payoff is speed in the rapid upskilling. When regulations change, a new product launches, or a skill gap emerges, AI enabled content creation lets us respond in days, not months. That agility is what allows learning to be embedded in work instead of detached, on demand, rather than scheduled far in advance, personalized instead of generic. The same generative engine can tweak scenarios, examples, or language for different roles or regions. We know that so many countries, so many companies operate in various countries globally. So this becomes very, very important there. So if AI can handle the heavy lifting of a first draft content, L&D can invest more energy in experience design, stakeholder alignment, and impact measurement, the work that truly future proofs your workforce. Beyond traditional courses and videos, AI is fueling a new era of learning that's immersive and playful. First, gamification. So, adding game like elements like points, levels, badges, leaderboards might sound superficial, but when done thoughtfully, it can tap into intrinsic motivation. Progress can feel more visible and rewarding. Healthy competition and collaboration can emerge. People are more likely to come back and practice. While gamification has been there for some time now, AI can make this smarter by personalizing challenges and rewards. For example, if a learner consistently aces basic scenarios, the system can unlock more complex missions that stretch them, can make a learner become a critical thinker instead of keeping them in an easy loop. Virtual reality creates fully simulated environments where employees can safely practice complex or high stakes skills. Can be used for safety drills, for emergency responses, for difficult conversations before actually having that conversation, for inclusive leadership, for technical tasks that are expensive or risky to replicate physically. Augmented reality overlays digital information into the real world. Imagine a technician looking at a machine through a tablet or smart glasses and seeing step-by-step guidance, warnings, or performance data. With AI behind it, AR can recognize what the person is looking at, exactly what he's looking at when he looks at it. It can offer context-aware instructions, adapt support based on what the learner does next. Finally, these technologies offer flexible experiences. Whether your workforce is on the shop floor, in an office, in a call center, at home, or on the road, AI enabled gamification, VR, and AR can deliver engaging practices wherever people are. They can support both synchronous and asynchronous learning, can provide consistent quality at scale. This opens exciting opportunities. You can give employees hands on, emotionally engaging practice without traveling, without disruption, and with rich data on how they performed. AI can support every stage of the learning life cycle, not just content delivery. AI can create adaptive learning paths. It sequences content based on prior knowledge and performance. It uses mastery checks and confidence ratings to decide when someone is ready to move on. It can apply spaced practice, resurfacing critical concepts over time to combat forgetting. AI can coach and tutor. So you have chatbots which can actually answer our typical how do I questions, can facilitate role plays. For example, practice giving feedback to a direct report, which would be really useful for a manager before the manager actually gets into that situation, especially maybe if it's a first time manager, right? It's not an easy thing to actually give that feedback. And the chatbot can actually give the manager suggestion on phrasing. So it can also guide self-reflection with prompts like what went well. So if you just had a discussion with your manager, the chatbot can give you these self-reflection questions on what went well, what would you do differently next time, right? So it actually makes a person think. It helps you to reflect. In terms of assessment at scale, AI can generate assessment items aligned to learning objectives. It can assist with rubric-based grading of open-ended responses, monitor assessment performance over time to detect any drift which may happen. And finally, scenario simulations. So AI can auto-generate branching dialogues and decision labs. So basically, these are like conversation trees where each interaction leads to multiple context-aware responses. And decision labs are basically simulation environments which are used to model complex decision-making processes. So AI can do that, and this can help with like customer escalations, negotiation conversations for leaders, ethical dilemmas, infinite variants of the same core scenario. So people don't memorize what they consider the correct path. They have to actually think. So when you put these together, the adaptive paths, the coaching, the scalable assessments, and the rich simulations, you get a learning ecosystem that is responsive, data driven, and deeply personalized across the entire life cycle. With that, I move to this slide, which highlights 5 trends we are seeing across leading organizations in 2025. Think of them as design principles for your AI-enabled L&D strategy. Organizations are moving from jobs and titles to skills as the primary currency. That's a skill-first organization. They are building dynamic skill taxonomies and skill graphs that map what capabilities people have and what the business needs. This needs to be done very, very carefully. Internal mobility, project matching, and learning priorities are all anchored in those skills. For L&D, this means we don't just ask what courses should we run. We ask what capabilities do we need to build and how do we know that we are closing that gap. From Copilot to agentic workflows, we've all heard the Copilot metaphor. AI assists a human doing the task. The next wave is agentic workflows, which is already started. AI systems that can orchestrate multiple steps across tools, trigger actions based on events like a performance drop or a role change, proactively suggest and even enroll people into the right experiences with human approval. This raises the bar for guardrails and workflow design. We need governance. So AI agents support people, not overwhelm or disempower them. Managers are still the single biggest drivers of everyday learning. The trend now is equipping managers with AI powered insights, dashboards showing team skills, learning progress, and potential risks, conversation prompts for development one on ones, suggested coaching questions, or resources tailored for each team member. AI is quickly becoming a fundamental skill, similar to digital literacy. So, we are seeing organizations define formal proficiency levels for AI use by role, include AI skills in job descriptions and performance expectations, offering structured learning pathways to build AI fluency for everyone. Many of you may have seen organizations already offering AI literacy certifications to the employees, and employees completing them and posting them on LinkedIn too, right? Finally, leading organizations are moving from AI first, ethics later to responsible AI by design. This means building privacy, consent, and security into every L&D tool, testing for bias before deployment, tracking data provenance, and how models are actually being trained. In short, the future of L&D is not just more AI, it's more intentional, skill anchored, manager enabled, AI fluent, and ethically governed. To me, this is a very crucial slide. Just because we can use AI doesn't mean we always should. A human centered approach ensures AI in learning is all about growth, equity, and well being, not just automation. First, we need to anchor on human centered goals. We need to ask, are we improving people's growth trajectories? Are we increasing accessibility and inclusion? Are we supporting professional well being, not just productivity? We need to be transparent. When AI is being used, what data it uses, learners should know this. Learners should know when AI is being used, what data it's using, the limits of its recommendations. So instead of a black box, we might say this suggestion is generated by an AI model trained on internal learning and role data. Here's how you can override it or adjust it. That builds trust. Fairness audits are important. We need to systematically test AI recommendations and assessments across different demographies. Look for patterns where a group is systematically advantaged or disadvantaged. Adjust models and data sets accordingly. And finally, learner agency. People should have clear opt-outs where appropriate. Feedback loops to say, this recommendation doesn't fit me. This recommendation feels off. Paths to appeal or review AI-driven decisions, especially those with consequences like certification status. When learners feel like AI is something being done to them, resistance grows. When they see AI as a partner they can question and guide, engagement grows. So the message on this slide is keep people at the heart, keep people at the center. If we do that, AI becomes a tool for empowerment, not control. Now we shift from what AI can do to how we can respond strategically. This slide outlines 3 important moves. First, anchor on business outcomes, not tech for tech's sake. So instead of piloting AI because it's interesting, exciting, the newest thing on the block, we start with questions like, what business metrics are we trying to move? Is it customer experience scores, Sales cycle time, quality, safety, error rates, time to productivity in new roles. Then we ask, where could AI enabled learning meaningfully influence that metric? That's very, very important. Secondly, we build a living skills graph. This is the backbone of a skills first organization, a dynamic map of which skills exist where and at what depth, connected to job roles, projects, learning assets, and outcomes. We need to continuously update it as people complete assignments, assessments, and projects. And we need to productivize learning. Productize learning, which means that we need to think of our critical learning journeys. New manager onboarding, sales academy, AI fluency as products, not as one off programs. They have owners and roadmaps, they are updated iteratively based on user feedback and data. They integrate with other systems and workflows. AI fits naturally into this mindset. We can test different recommendation strategies, tweak simulations. We can refine coaching prompts based on how learners respond. So, the strategic play is start with business outcomes, build a skill graph as your connective tissue, and productize learning using AI as a powerful enabler within that product strategy. And finally, we pull the threads together in three big takeaways. Firstly, capability builder. AI elevates L&D from a content delivery to capability building. We are not measured by hours of training delivered, but by skills gained and problems solved. Learning becomes faster, more personal, and deeply integrated into everyday learning. The differentiator: what will separate organizations that play with AI from those that truly transform? Governed deployment is very important with clear policies, ethics, and guardrails. A robust skills strategy, knowing what you're building and why. Workflow design, rethinking processes so learning and AI sit inside the work and not besides it. And action bias. None of this has to be perfect on day one. In fact, it actually can't be. A practical path forward might look like pick one high impact use case, say improving onboarding or manager coaching. Pilot an AI enabled solution there. Measure impact on both human and business metrics. Learn, adjust, and only then scale. Let's pause on this quote. Embrace the unknown and embrace change. That's where true breakthroughs happen. Jensen Huang, president and CEO of NVIDIA, gave this quote. This quote captures exactly where we are in L&D. AI introduces uncertainty. We don't fully know how roles will evolve. We are learning how to govern these tools responsibly. We are experimenting with new modalities, new data, new workflows. It can feel uncomfortable, especially for functions like HR and L&D that hold responsibility for people's trust and well-being. So the other day I was having a conversation where someone said to me that an agent can actually take the place of someone who's conducting an interview. And to that, my thought was, would the interviewee be told that he's being interviewed by an agent instead of an actual human being? Ethically, according to me, the interview should be told. But when an interview is told that, what would be your response if you were that interviewee? Would you feel that the organization is not valuing you enough? Would you trust an agent over a human being? As an organization, would you trust that an agent can replace the years of experience, judgment, wisdom that a person has? These are difficult questions, and which we will along the way maybe need to answer. But breakthroughs in learning rarely comes from staying in the safe zone of what we've always done. More of the same workshops, more static e-learning, they come from actually trying a new AI powered pathway for perhaps to start with a small population, giving managers maybe a new dashboard and seeing how it changes, say, their coaching skills, letting employees co create prompts, scenarios, and use cases that work for them. So, I'd invite you to reflect personally. What is one aspect of AI in learning that feels unknown but exciting to you? From an organizational perspective, where might embracing that unknown unlock a breakthrough for your learners, your managers, your leaders, or your business? Embracing the unknown doesn't mean ignoring risks. It means stepping forward with governance, with ethics, and with curiosity. That's exactly what will allow our organization and our people to thrive in this new era. Thank you so much for your time and attention today. We've explored how AI is transforming learning from personalized paths, real time curation, on demand support to immersive experiences, skills first strategies, and responsible human centered design. We've also looked at what this means for us as HR and L&D professionals, shifting from content producers to capability builders and strategic partners. If there's one message I hope to leave you with, is this. AI is not here to replace L&D, it's here to help us reimagine how people grow, connect, and thrive at work. I'd love to continue this conversation as you experiment with these ideas in your own organizations. And you can reach me at mepoonam2020@gmail.com or connect with me on LinkedIn. I've shared my QR code here as well as my phone number. Thank you again. And with that, I'm open to take your questions.
Thank you, Poonam. Can you stop sharing the screen so I can bring us both into full screen?
Sure.
First, let me say that was so full of great information. My mind was just kind of going like this. I don't know if you saw my face. There were a lot of great ideas and a lot of really good thinking in terms of how this is going to impact all of us. So I want to start by asking you a very simple question. Assuming an organization has no money, how would they start to bring their people along?
I think it's important to first start with AI fluency, of AI, basic AI literacy. And I think maybe based on people's roles, employees' roles in the organization, they can look at the levels of fluency, of literacy that they actually require. So that would be the base level of starting with that. And then maybe looking at some process where you feel AI will actually benefit, maybe starting small with a pilot project on that and seeing whether it actually improves your metrics, whether human and business, and then taking it forward from there.
So I'm tracking you completely, and I have a little thread I want to pull on there. How would you choose a project that you think might impact your business? Someone who's new to this is thinking, okay, I have a business. How might I begin to, how do you ideate, or where do you start in terms of imagining where you could actually plug in?
So maybe something which is most challenging today for you, for the business, somewhere where, you would get, say, rapid gains. So I know, like, if you're a startup, say, and you just started and everything, maybe instead of learning per se, L&D per se, you may want to actually start with, say, the recruitment process. So maybe that's where you would see quick gains, wherein you can get an AI agent to help you, say, schedule interviews, to help you search the database, everything. So that's where you may actually see gains. But if you're a large organization and you want, say, leadership buy-in, you may want to look at any process which you feel maybe has the maximum impact. It could be perhaps manager coaching, or it could be, say, new employee onboarding. You want people to hit the ground running super quick. So
this
Yeah.
This brings me to we're in a market that's kind of weird, and there's a lot of people looking for work. How can people use AI to help themselves to be more competitive and or to differentiate the way that they present themselves to potential employers?
So I think increasingly now all job descriptions actually require some level of AI fluency, of AI as a core skill that you need to have. So that's something which everyone needs to have, regardless of what your views are on AI. You need to actually upskill yourself on AI and need to have that kind of curiosity and interest in what's happening, on how rapidly it's evolving. And I think that's what employers would be looking for, is someone who is able to actually continue learning, someone who's willing to evolve, and someone who has that mindset of embracing the unknown, of actually willing to kind of take it on. Yeah.
Great. I'm trying to think of, I had a whole list of questions, but you've answered many of them. So let me see what else I might ask you. You know, I guess one of the things I'm wondering about, and you spoke to it a little bit about the keeping humans in the center of it. Ethically, what kinds of questions might companies be asking themselves to ensure that they're keeping humans at the center?
Yeah, I think it's important when you're implementing AI is, one is that, like I said, that in all processes, especially in L&D, ensuring that humans have that learner agency of actually making decisions, of like simple thing like saying that this recommendation given by AI does not work for me, of being able to override it, question it. So giving them that power to do that. So it should be more empowering that we're using AI and not being overwhelmed or disempowered by it. So I think that is very, very critical. And of also ensuring that there are ethical policies and everything in process. I think constantly checking that, the demographics, and ensuring that everyone is having that kind of accessibility and equity. It's not disadvantaging any group of people.
Mhm.
That's something which organizations need to constantly check as they integrate AI into their organization.
Okay, I think I'm going to leave it there because I really do think that you touched on every important point in your presentation, and I hope that many people will share this going forward, because I do think that it's very thought-provoking, and I think it will help people to understand the things they need to be looking at and thinking about. So with that, I'm going to say thank you so much, but I want to share my screen so that I can bring this session to a close and just say a few final words. And so anyway, let me first of all say again, thank you, Poonam, and thank you everyone who joined us today for the AI-powered learning revolution discussion, which I think I'm very excited about. We hope the insights shared sparked new ideas for you and inspired you the way that it inspired me to think differently about how AI can enhance learning and development while also keeping people at the heart of it all. To learn more about DILAN Consulting and our services and how we might support your organization on its journey, please visit our website at www.dilanconsulting.com. And the great news here is that if you want to listen to this again in about a week, it'll be up on the DILAN Consulting YouTube station. And so please, again, go and visit that and share it with other people. Thank you again for being here, staying curious, stay human, and we look forward to connecting with you again in the future. Again, thank you all, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much, Eugene.
Thank you.